Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. This is Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. Hey, guys. As I got a second to sit down and work on this Ampex VP49C color machine, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a progress report or a little bit of an update. Anyways, I'm jumping around doing several different projects at the same time. So, when I get a moment to sit and do something that I need to do for myself, such as today, we get to try to get some things done. Well, today we're working on the VP4900C Ampex 1-inch machine. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos I'm posting from the Sony EV machines from the high school that the customer sent me some videotapes. That's pretty interesting stuff. Now, that's a 1-inch type of machine, black and white, but a different type of 1-inch machine. All right, this is a 1-inch machine which is different from the EV series, but it's an Ampex 1-inch machine from the late 60s, around 67, roughly 66. So this is the earlier model of all the 1-inch machines. It is a very rough and hard machine to fix. There's not many of these out there that work. And plus, it's really hard to get parts, like I spoke in previous videos. Tires, the belts not so much, but the tires, big time, are hard to get. And then again, once you get it, the video heads, there's no video heads for these machines. If you got a bad video head, the machine's pretty much junk. If you really don't know how to think outside of the box, like I am, I'm actually going to be making brand new video heads for these machines as well. So we got around that problem. But as everybody's been seeing, I was talking in a previous video about this thing having a power problem. It is having a voltage problem, and we did get some of the parts in today. So let's walk through that real quick. Anyways, I did take the transistors. You got 3 various transistors in this actual power distribution amp. And what this does is it distributes different voltages on this power supply out to the boards. And we did find 2 transistors which were open, 1 diode which was open, okay? And of course, these 3 capacitors were completely dried out. The 2,000 microfarad capacitors were only reading about 20 microfarads, way off on what it should be. So these were seriously dried out. This one here was a little high. It was like almost 6,000 when it's supposed to be 4,000. So anyways, the capacitors were dried out, throwing this thing way off. But I think what happened is the capacitors and the values were so wrong on where they're supposed to be, it kind of backed up and shorted out some of these transistors, which left them open. So we did put 3 brand new transistors. They are new. I ended up swapping out these diodes with fresh ones. I've got another one I'm waiting on. Actually, I got 2 of them I'm waiting on. So, I'm going to change these out with fresh new diodes. They get all funky after a while. And plus, going through power surges and different things, I don't trust them. So, like I said, when in doubt, swap it out. I'd rather put new in. It's cheap stuff. It's not very expensive to replace those. So, we changed out all the diodes, all the transistors. 2 were open, 1 was not. The capacitors were way out of tolerance. I mean, way out of tolerance. I mean, big time. So that might have been a big factor. Plus, I got to make sure this thing is grounded really well because it does have a ground wire. And on the back of this board, there is copper clad, meaning it's got to be grounded when it's screwed in tight to this plate right here for the ground feature to it, to make sure it's getting a good ground. That's a very big point when you're working on stuff like this, is a ground issue. A lot of people don't realize when you put the boards back in, you got to make sure they're grounded big time when you bolt them down, you have this little open copper clad. That's for the ground that it's got to have. And if it's not tight, real tight on that plate, you will have grounding issues. All right, so anyways, we got this power distribution amp almost done. Still waiting on a few things, and then cross our fingers, we'll get full power back up to this thing and get this thing running correctly. As you know, we changed out the capacitors in this bridge board right here that runs the audio for the speaker up there. That's working fine. On a previous video, you know that. This is all going to be new, so there should be no issues at this point for power when we power this thing up. All right, I want to show you guys a little trick. A lot of people who do capacitors and replace them, they kind of know this, but there's a lot of people out there, you know, you would like to learn this type of stuff. This capacitor is a 4,000 microfarad. As you can see, it's riveted with this type of Bakelite like little disc. They rivet it in place, okay, and it's a real pain in the ass. You take this cap out, and since I'm not replacing it with the same type, I just left the capacitor there. I removed the wires from the back or underneath. So what we did is we bridged the same value, which is a 4,000 microfarad capacitor. This is an electrolytic with the axle lead on both sides. We shielded it with clear tubing, which is this stuff right here, which is clear tubing, which goes on the actual tail itself, and we left a little open so we could solder in the spots where the connections are supposed to be. We tapped a little glue right there so it stays in place. It's not going to move around. And there, voila, we replaced this capacitor with that capacitor. And that runs this motor up here, and I believe it runs the scanner motor. So we're going to change those out as well. I do have 2 new motor run caps. I'm just going to hold off for now. When I test this and I get the video back up, and if it's still sluggish, or if it does become sluggish, I'll have 2 new motor run caps, and we'll change those out. I'm not putting those in just yet. I don't think these are bad, but just in case they are, we'll have 2 new ones to change. But we did change out a lot on the power distribution here. We're going to get this up and running. I got a funny feeling the issue is going to be corrected after we get this installed. We did find a capacitor, and we mounted this one. It completely fixes this capacitor problem right here. This one was kind of weird. It was quite high, so we're swapping it out anyways with a new one. All right, and of course we rebuilt the second board that's for the audio for the speaker, which is your bridge board. That's working fine. So anyways, guys, we're going to have this thing working really good soon. This is Sunday, so I'm sitting down here at my table here, and when I get a chance to work on something that needs to be fixed, it usually ends up being on Sundays. But like I said, guys, it's a little bit of a repair on this deck. What's really kind of cool about this machine, you got this little cooling fan, right? It just snaps right on here. And it's great because you can pop it off, especially if you need to get in there and change anything out. But this is a really nice machine. And like I said, we'll be doing a lot of vintage video transfers on this, just like on the videos you're watching now, done on the EV 1-inch machine from the school stuff I'm working on. But this stuff is going to be the 1-inch tape, which of course, you know, we're doing on the Ampex stuff. I did get some more parts in for this Ampex, which we are working on at the same time, which is going to be a bunch of new caps. I just wanted to show you guys something. That capacitor right here this is a 4,000 microfarad capacitor. That's exactly what I need. The biggest problem was the pins weren't quite right. So I did have to offset these a little bit, but it was no big deal, just to make them work. And we were able to install this can cap. And these are made by Sprague as well. Sprague makes awesome capacitors. I mean, Sprague these guys are the shit for capacitors. They make really good capacitors, especially when you're using high voltage capacitors. So anyways, we were able to get some really good high grade Sprague capacitors. And like I said, soon we're going to be working on these 1-inch Type A's, and we're going to find some more goodies for you guys to see. I know you guys are enjoying all the video I'm posting. We did order some graphite, or actually it's pencil lead is what they used in these, and I'm gonna put brand new pieces in there, which is going to be the contacts for the video heads for this unit. And but I may change out these capacitors depending. I just, you know, they were working fine, but you know, I may just change them out anyways. I don't want to deal with this old crap. This old crap always fails sooner or later, and you got to go back and end up redoing it anyways. So anyways, we did get all the caps for these boards, and when I could sit down and actually work on this project, I will. But my main concern right now is due to the fact that the overwhelming demand on the Type A videotapes that I have, I've got to get this Ampex 1-inch machine Type A working. So we're going to get this one working, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video.